Sometimes it happens quietly. Not with an explosion or a heartbreak or a single, clear event, but with the slow unraveling of something you can't quite name. You wake up one morning, and the world feels just slightly off axis. The things that used to anchor you don't fit as neatly anymore. The mirror feels distant. Your laughter feels like it's echoing from somewhere else. You scroll through your phone, searching for a sign, a word, a face, a sentence that might remind you who you are, but everything blurs together. You're not even sure when it started. Only that somewhere between all the trying, the striving, the surviving, you began to lose sight of yourself. If you've ever felt this, the ache of disconnection, the quiet panic of not recognizing your own reflection, this is for you. Here are 5 gentle reminders for when you feel lost. Not lessons, not fixes. Just soft truths, whispered from the parts of you that are still here, waiting for you to remember. 1. You're not broken, you're becoming. There's a moment in every healing journey that feels like the end, when everything you thought you knew begins to dissolve. The routines, the roles, even your sense of identity start to blur, and your mind whispers, something's wrong with me. But what if nothing's wrong? What if this, the confusion, the unraveling, the fog, is what growth looks like from the inside? In psychology, there's a concept called liminality, the space between what was and what's next. Anthropologist Victor Turner used it to describe the transitional phase in a rite of passage, where identity is suspended and transformation begins. Liminality feels uncomfortable because it's not yet this or that. You're no longer who you were, but not yet who you're becoming. It's the psychological cocoon, and inside it, everything feels messy and uncertain. The human brain doesn't like uncertainty. The amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm system, interprets it as danger. That's why when life feels undefined, your body might react as if you're in trouble. Racing thoughts, tight chest, the urge to find quick answers. But your nervous system isn't malfunctioning. It's protecting you from the unknown. So when you feel lost, remind yourself, uncertainty is not the same as failure. It's a sign that you're growing beyond the familiar. Maybe you're shedding old identities, the perfectionist, the people pleaser, the overthinker, and your mind hasn't caught up yet. Maybe the silence isn't emptiness, but space clearing for something new. Growth doesn't always announce itself with confidence or clarity. Sometimes it looks like exhaustion. Sometimes it looks like I'm feeling nothing at all. Sometimes it's just you, sitting quietly in the in-between, learning how to trust again. Becoming is rarely graceful, but it's always sacred. 2. The mind gets loud when the heart feels unsafe. Have you noticed how your thoughts grow louder when your emotions feel uncertain? The overthinking, the spiraling, the endless what-ifs. It's not because you're weak or too sensitive. It's because your mind is trying to protect you from emotional pain. Here's the science. When your brain senses emotional threat, rejection, shame, or unpredictability, it activates the same regions involved in physical pain. The anterior cingulate cortex lights up, interpreting that emotional wound as danger. And so, the brain tries to fix it, not by feeling but by thinking. That's why you replay conversations, analyze every text, or predict worst-case scenarios. Your brain isn't trying to hurt you, it's trying to regain control. But healing begins when you realize this. Overthinking is not clarity. It's a form of emotional armor. If your mind feels loud, it's often because your heart hasn't felt safe in a while. You may have been holding yourself together for too long, walking on emotional eggshells, adapting to environments that rewarded composure over authenticity. Your nervous system learned that peace meant silence, not safety. So, it overfunctions, scanning, analyzing, protecting. But safety isn't found through control. It's found through connection. The next time your thoughts start spiraling, try pausing, not to fight them, but to listen. Ask gently, what is my mind trying to protect me from right now? Often, it's not the situation itself. It's the feeling underneath. Fear of loss. Fear of rejection. Fear of being misunderstood. In that moment, your mind doesn't need more logic. It needs comfort. And comfort doesn't come from answers. It comes from permission. Permission to feel, to soften, to exist without solving. Try placing a hand over your chest, breathing in slowly, and whispering to yourself, it's okay to not be okay right now. I'm safe enough to feel this. You're not losing your mind. You're learning to listen to it. 3. Healing is not linear. It's rhythmic. If healing were a straight line, we'd all be experts by now. But it's not. Healing moves like the ocean, sometimes calm, sometimes chaotic, always returning. There's a psychological rhythm to recovery. It's called the pendulation effect, a term from trauma therapy describing how the nervous system moves naturally between expansion and contraction, between safety and activation. When you feel grounded, your body expands. You breathe deeper, think clearer, connect easier. But when triggered, your body contracts. Muscles tighten, breathing shortens, emotions narrow. The key isn't to stay expanded all the time, but to allow the rhythm. In healing, you'll have days when you feel light, open, and full of clarity, and days when everything feels heavy again. This doesn't mean you're back at zero. It means you're revisiting layers of yourself that still need care. Think of it like waves. Every return carries new understanding. Each moment of pain revisited is another chance to respond differently, with softness instead of shame, curiosity instead of criticism. The human brain rewires through repetition and safety. Neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity, the ability to form new neural pathways when old ones are soothed rather than suppressed. Every time you meet your pain with gentleness instead of judgment, you're reshaping your mind. So, if you find yourself asking, "Why am I feeling this again?" remember, you're not backtracking. You're deepening. You're learning to hold the full spectrum of your humanity. The joy, the grief, the confusion, the calm, without abandoning yourself. Healing isn't about erasing pain. It's about expanding your capacity to feel it without losing your sense of self. Your rhythm is sacred. Let it flow. 4. It's okay to outgrow what no longer feels like home. There's a quiet kind of grief that doesn't get talked about enough, the grief of outgrowing. You feel it when old friendships start feeling forced, when your passions shift, when routines that once brought comfort now feel suffocating. You start questioning, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just be content? But maybe it's not discontent. Maybe it's evolution. The human psyche is wired for adaptation. As you grow in self-awareness, your internal world expands. Your values shift. Your nervous system recalibrates. Your capacity for authenticity widens. And what once fit you, the places, the people, the habits, may no longer align with who you're becoming. This isn't selfishness. It's psychological congruence, the process of aligning your inner truth with your outer world. Carl Rogers, one of the founders of humanistic psychology, described it as self-actualization, the natural drive of every person to become more fully themselves. But the process often involves shedding. It's the caterpillar outgrowing the leaf, the snake shedding old skin, the heart releasing what no longer sustains it. And yes, it hurts, because the mind loves familiarity. The hippocampus stores patterns of safety, and the unknown threatens those blueprints. So even if something no longer serves you, leaving it can feel terrifying. That's why we sometimes stay, in relationships, jobs, versions of ourselves, long after they stop feeling like home. Because loss, even of what limits us, still feels like loss. So, if you're outgrowing something right now, honor that grief. You're not being dramatic or ungrateful. You're simply acknowledging that your inner landscape has changed. And maybe the real bravery isn't in holding on, but in softly letting go. Trusting that the spaces meant for your next chapter will rise to meet you. Sometimes, outgrowing means finally stepping into the size of your own soul. 5. You're allowed to begin again, as many times as you need. There's a misconception that once you lose yourself, you can't find your way back. But the truth is, self-awareness isn't a destination. It's a return. You will lose and find yourself many times in this lifetime. Each time, a little more gently, a little more honestly. Psychologically, identity is fluid. The self isn't fixed. It's reconstructed through memory, emotion, and experience. Every time you shift perspective, every time you learn something new about yourself, your brain reorganizes its narrative. Your personal story evolves. This means you're allowed to rewrite it. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for reflection, gives you the unique human ability to reinterpret your past, to integrate pain into meaning. You can't change what happened, but you can change how your story holds you. Maybe the ending you thought was failure is actually the beginning of freedom. Maybe the version of you that feels lost is just the one between chapters. Begin again. Not by rushing to fix, but by remembering what has always been true beneath the noise. Your worth, your tenderness, your quiet strength. Rebuilding doesn't require perfection. It requires permission to rest, to explore, to take small steps toward what feels peaceful. The nervous system heals through consistency and safety, not pressure. Each small act of self-kindness, drinking water when you'd usually skip, texting a friend when you'd usually withdraw, taking a slow breath instead of spiraling, tells your body, I'm safe enough to be here. And when safety returns, clarity follows. There's no expiration date on starting over. You can always return to yourself, even if it's inch by inch, even if it takes time. Every sunrise you wake up to is an invitation to begin again. Not from scratch, but from experience. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not late. You are becoming. Still, quietly, beautifully. The closing truth. There's a moment, maybe not dramatic or cinematic, but deeply human, when you realize that feeling lost isn't proof of failure. It's evidence of awareness. Because only a self that's awake can notice its own disorientation. Only a mind that longs for truth can feel the ache of not being aligned with it. And that longing, that ache, it's sacred. It's your inner compass, whispering, you're meant for something truer than survival. So tonight, if the world feels heavy, sit with that ache. Light a candle. Place your hand on your heart. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to stay curious. Curious enough to listen to your mind, kind enough to comfort your heart, and brave enough to believe that maybe, just maybe, feeling lost is how you find your way home. A soft science of the soul. If you take one thing away, let it be this. The science of the mind is also the poetry of being human. The amygdala, the hippocampus, the prefrontal cortex, they are not just neural structures. They are storytellers. They carry every memory, every fear, every flicker of hope. Your psychology is not your flaw. It's your humanity written in biology. So, when you study yourself, your triggers, your patterns, your emotions, do it the way a gardener studies the seasons. With patience, with wonder, with love. Because self-awareness isn't about fixing who you are. It's about befriending who you've always been. You are not the storm. You are the sky that holds it. You are not the noise. You are the quiet observer beneath it. You are not lost. You are simply learning to see in the dark. And somewhere beyond the fear and confusion, the truest part of you, the one who has always been watching, always waiting, smiles softly and whispers, welcome home.